All due respect, you got no fucking idea what it's like to be number one. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Welcome to Market Makers, everybody. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. This is the beginning of a huge week because we kick off the Mag 7 earnings. So we're going to look at Tesla as a stock, the SOX, the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, Intel's reporting, Google is reporting. Both Tesla and Google are on Wednesday. So it could be the canary in the coal mine to see how the market's going to treat the earnings that these two report. Because remember, you can have a beat, but you can still get a massive sell-off if the market's upset about CapEx or whatever the narrative is going to be. Guys, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to join us, come over to the Discord or see what we have to offer on YouTube. Click the join button right there on the channel. If you got a hype button, go ahead and give that a click for me as well. And of course, check out our video description to see how to support the channel. Let's talk about the markets because the crypto video will come out after this. But really, the markets can kind of be condensed into what's happening in the Middle East and what's happening with the price of oil. Because if you want to talk about the earnings have been spectacular. You're pushing for the companies that have reported almost 30% earnings growth. 30%. We're talking about an index, which is the S&P, not a beta tech stock. The street was forecasting 26%, and through that first week of earnings, 30% is what you're getting. So can that streak continue? If it does, the market turns cheaper. The market will get bought up. We will elevate to new targets. Let's look and see what oil's doing because this puts pressure on the market. We had oil sell all the way off back down to the low or the mid to high 60s, $67. You look at this from a technical perspective. We talk about this all the time, you guys, in the crypto space, the snapback rallies. Strong sell-off, snapback rally. If another ceasefire, a pause, which is being rumored right now, comes into place, you could see oil pull back again, right? And if oil pull backs again, what's the market's going to do with the strong earnings? They're going to go up, right? If oil pulls back and then goes back up, maybe to test the downtrend line about $90, guess what's going to happen? You could have your stronger retracement. Why? Because July is the strongest month of the year going back 20 years. August, September are the two weakest months. And we know that 3 years in a row, we got our corrections going into August, September. July tops, August, September correction. So again, put the pieces of the puzzle together. Where's the market at? You're in fear, right? You're in fear. You've been in the 30s. Now you're in the 40s. Part of the reason you're in fear is because everybody's telling you it's a massive bubble. What does the fractal say? If we look at our S&P fractal, we've been covering this. Gave you the predictions a year ago for 7,000, 7,500. Both those targets were hit. The fractal was predicting 7,500, then a pullback. You got 7,625, then a pullback, and then you elevate up, and then you correct 10 to 13%. Elevate up, the fractal saying 7,900, correct 10 to 13%. If we look at this over here on the S&P, look at where you are. You are 125 points off of an all-time high, and the market is in fear, and earnings are coming in at 30%. Why does that matter? Because nobody cares except for the Mag 7 and the big tech space, and then some of the chips that are going to start reporting, because that's where the momentum is, right? So that's what you want to look at, but just keep this in mind because overall, very bullish setup. We don't know what the earnings are going to be, if they're going to continue strong, but the S&P being 125 points from a new all-time high, I think you're going to see an elevation, an attempt to break out to 7,869 to 8,000, then your top going into August, and then your drop 10 to 13%, which puts you right back at that 7,000 previous all-time high. And guess what's happening after that? The most bullish time of the year. When will we bottom? Right around the fall equinox, the 3 weeks surrounding the fall equinox, September 21st. Then the most bullish time of the year will kick in going into October all the way out to the summer. And you're looking at the average gain, guys, going back to the 1950s on the S&P is 20%. The average gain on the NASDAQ since it was created in the 1970s, 29%. Midterm election year cycle. You guys hear me talk about this all the time. So the guys predicting the massive crashes, here's one. He was just on David Lynn, Gareth Soloway. Lee, throw up that thumbnail. He's predicting a 75% decline. Just keep in mind, he said the same thing over here at 7,000 when I told you we're going to 7,500. Why? Because the market was declining with the Iran war. And what did he miss out on and the people that followed him? The strongest rally in 40 years. 1,300 plus S&P points, 20+% move. The strongest move since the early 1980s is what you missed out on if you thought the bubble was popping and everything was collapsing. Guys, going into 2027, you're going to see the S&P move towards 9K. Understand the cycle. This is the most bullish time period these last 2 years, 27 and 2028. I've kept those predictions for you. You're going to see 10K on the S&P plus. You're going to see Bitcoin 200, 250K because this is the cycle as it played out in the 1920s, the 1990s, combination of decennial cycle, the midterm election cycle. This is extremely bullish coming up, but you're going to get a correction at some point. And when's the 2 weakest months of the year? August and September. Those are the 2 weakest months. When did we correct the last 3 years in a row after the July top? August and September. So this move is going to scare the shit out of everybody who's on Finex and YouTube who has to do their bubble predictions. S&P, oh look, Bob, I can clearly see the S&P going down 50%, NASDAQ 75%, Bitcoin below 10K. Just, it's a bubble. It's so clear that it's a bubble. The market's never been this expensive. Newsflash, the market's actually getting cheaper because earnings are so explosive. The market is trading cheaper now than it was a year ago because of earnings. The market will go up. Just trust me on this. You don't have to trust me, but watch the videos and you'll see it play out in real time. So where are we concerned if we're going to start to correct? Because having said all that, I have no idea what the earnings are going to be as they continue. Nobody does. That's why they guess. That's why they have forecasts. Where you're concerned on the S&P is if you break 72.29. If you start collapsing and break 72.29, that correction is coming in full swing. You're at 7,500, few ticks below. We don't know what Google's going to give us. We don't know what Tesla's going to give us or if it will continue. But I continue to maintain my bull case that I gave you a year ago, 7,000 was hit. My max bull case a year ago, 7,500 was hit. I think you're going to break out to the upside, go to 7,800, 8,000. Then you're going to correct 10 to 13%, dropping you right back to that 7K region. Then you're going to base, and then the S&P is going to put on a 20% rally between October, November, out to the summertime of 2027. And most people that you watch are going to be totally dismissive and miss it. They're going to say things like, well, the market's rigged. Clearly, they don't want the bubble to pop, when really it's just the data. The data with the midterm election cycle going back 100 years tells you this is going to happen. And they don't want to pay attention to that. I just want to say it's a bubble and everything's popping. So just keep that in mind. But let's continue on. If we look at the NASDAQ, here you are in the NASDAQ. Again, testing that neckline down here, 28.4. That actual low down here on that deepest low is 28.2. You're at 28.9. Why is this so messy? Why is it compressing like this? The money is rotating. Watch the flows. You got money float that flew into chips, coming out of chips. It's going in the financials like the banks that all put up explosive beats. It's going to other beat up areas of the market. The money's been rotating. NASDAQ's been the biggest victim of that, but you're still in your same trading range. Where is this more concerning? You start breaking down, like maybe make an M-top below 28.2, and you start breaking down because then you're going to possibly revisit your 26.2, which is down here at your previous all-time high with all of this candle support. But guys, we're not even halfway through earnings yet, and the earnings have been spectacular. spectacular. I cannot stress that enough. Doesn't mean it will continue, but they've been spectacular. So keep that in mind. I think the bias is for the upside. And if you break out in the NASDAQ, what's the next level? 31.8. You're at 28.9. 31.8 is your next level upside move if you can get some momentum building in that index. You look at the Russell 2000. Look at the compression here on the RMA trend flip. Look at your trend daily, bullish, 3-day, bullish, weekly, bullish, monthly, bullish. It's a bubble. It's going to pop. Here's your downtrend line. If we get this to go to the upside, resolve to the upside after hitting our target, by the way, of 3K, which again, you got back in April of 2025. If we get resolution to the upside, I'm looking at 31.25, 31.72. Where is this bearish? Well, if you snap back up and make a double top, an M top like this, break your downtrend line right around here, come below 2,900, that would be bearish and you would be beginning your correction if that happens. But again, I don't think that's not my base case. We don't know what the earnings will be, but we'll see how it plays out. 31.25, 31.72. Upside targets. If we look at the DAX, higher highs, higher lows, the DAX going sideways as well. If we look at the DAX on indicators, you can see your volume getting bid up, RSI's bearish, momentum's bearish, holding up very well. What does the DAX need to do? It needs to break above 25,550. You'll see this move, by the way, if the S&P and NASDAQ break out, and the target's 26.4 and 27K. Those are the two targets. You got higher lows, all in trend, higher highs, all in trend. You do not have a breakdown. Support at 25.5, 24K. You don't have a breakdown yet. You have a neutral sideways market that can resolve up or resolve down, seeing that across many of the indices. What about the SOX? So everybody's freaked out about the decline in the SOX. You went up 107% since March. So between March and June, March, April, well, what actually is the day that was? It the 30th? Let me look. That was March 31st. So April, May, June, in 3 months, you went up 107%. That is a parabolic move. Parabolic moves, correct? Same way down, right? So look at the move down you've had. You've had 24% sell-off in the SOX. Can it go deeper? Of course it can. But when you look at this type of move, again, from a technical perspective, parabolic move up, wave of selling down, you're going to get a rebound back up. 13.3, 13.9, so 13 to 14K. This could be where you could see a top, the kill box, and then you're going to get a move back down to possibly retest the low at 10,869 or break down to a new low at 10,000, which is where your 54 or your 90-day RMA is. You almost sold off to the 54 RMA on the first move down. That could be the trajectory of the SOX. And of course, if you start seeing the semis reporting super strong earnings, you could have a reversal pattern, meaning you come back up and you negate the double top and you do something like this. You get some resistance at 13K, you pull back for a higher low, and you break out to the upside and continue to move up. We'll see how it plays out. If we look at Google here, again, Google's reporting Wednesday, and so is Tesla. And then Thursday, you have Intel. Google is on top of its trading range. This is a bullish move. You had a great move. The prediction here, when we hit 271, I gave you 400. It got to 400. Now you've sold off, and now you're chopping along the top of your trading range. And of course, this is natural because Google reports Wednesday. If the market likes what Google has to say, guess what Google's doing? It's going to come up. This is your Livermore pivot, right? So it's going to come up and break your high, and then I'd be looking at 430 on Google if the market loves what Google has to say. If Google disappoints, look for the M top to find resistance in this cluster of candles somewhere between 378 and 400, 375 and 400. Make a top and then possibly break down in that perspective and sell off further, right? Those are your two key moves to watch in Google. If we move forward and look at Intel again, in 3 months went up 250%. Few guys on the Discord traded this thing like down there from that low. It's freaking crazy. It's awesome trade. But that's what is this sell off right now? About 33%. Yeah, about 37%. So you went up 250%. You're down 37%. Look at some of the key factors in Intel. They report Thursday. Where'd you find support? 50% retracement, right at 91.50. Beneath you, the next support's at $80. That's also where your 90-day RMA is. You fell right to the 54 RMA. It's also where your gap defense is, right there at that $80 mark. So watch this level. If Intel reports and the market doesn't like it, you could be slipping down to that 79.49 level. And conversely, what's going to happen if the market loves it? It's going to chop back up, and you can pull resistance on fibs from that all-time high and see where it goes to. But that's what Intel's looking like. We look at Tesla, again, one of the Mag 7. Really, it's Mag 8, but SpaceX has no history yet, and SpaceX is not in the S&P yet, it's just in the NASDAQ. So we're looking at the Mag 7, and here's Tesla. When you look at Tesla, where could Tesla go? If Tesla disappoints, here's your trend line, your uptrend line from the tariff sell-off April 2025. This is where it formed, and you came down and you kissed it today. If you break through this trend line and you come down below 350, you really need to watch 322. That's your uptrend line from 2024. It's also the 618, 322. Watch that level if Tesla disappoints and breaks to the downside. You got 350, 322. You're at 374 right now. And obviously, if Tesla puts in good numbers or the market like what it has to say, break the downtrend line, break above 453. You got 505 would be the target for that summer rally to continue there for Tesla if it can break to the upside. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Crypto video is out next. See you in a minute.